Hello to all the amazing listeners, viewers, and football fans, and welcome back to another episode of your favorite football podcast, Gaffer's Advisor. This is your host, Siddharth Kathuria, and I'm here with some quick analysis and some quick discussion about the upcoming Game Week 22 in the English Premier League. But before we get into the football talk and I forget, let me give you a quick reminder to please like and subscribe to Gaffer's Advisor if you still haven't done so. I would also like to take this moment to give a massive shout out to all those who did subscribe. Thank you so much for giving me a small little place in your hearts, in your lives, and most importantly in your phone notifications. This podcast is truly nothing without your love and without your support that I'm truly honored to receive. Getting back to the Premier League, we are 21 game weeks in and Arsenal is sitting at the top comfortably with 50 points and a game in hand. This Arsenal side under the management of Mikel Arteta has truly shown what patience and perseverance can lead to. But I digress. Now that the Game Week 21 was almost 2 weeks ago and we were treated to some domestic cup competition games in the interval, it is time to have a quick little recap and let's get ready for upcoming Game Week 22. With just one draw in their last 5 fixtures, Arsenal are becoming more and more worthy of being called as the juggernaut, at least for this season. Having played one game less than the other current top 4 clubs, the Gunners are sitting at the top enjoying their 5-point cushion. And as if that was not enough, the Arsenal fans are definitely buzzing and grinning ear to ear after having beaten 2 of their rivals back to back in the form of Tottenham Hotspur and Manchester United. And as the month of January progressed, the squad availability to Mikel Arteta also increased. First, Emil Smith-Rowe returned from injury and then the Gunners had a pretty busy winter transfer window. The club brought in the likes of Leandro Trossard, who already showcased what he's capable of against the Red Devils, and in addition to that, the club also brought in the likes of Jakub Kiwior and Jorginho to strengthen their defensive arsenal. No pun intended. With Everton away and Brentford at home being the next fixtures for the North Londoners, 6 points should be all but a guarantee. It remains to be seen if the Gunners will do a Liverpool and mess up the lead or if they bring the Premier League champions' glory back to the Emirates for the first time since 2004. Next up are the defending champions, the club that was the juggernaut till the previous season, Manchester City. The citizens suffered a very tough and disappointing loss in the Manchester derby, but then went on to record 2 back-to-back victories, keeping them in the hunt for the leaders Arsenal. While City is 5 points behind and has played one more game, the good news is that Manchester City and Arsenal are still to square off in the league this season. Continuing with more good news for Manchester City fans and manager Pep Guardiola alike, the squad is at full strength with absolutely no injuries bugging the club. The Manchester-based outfit also brought in Maximo Perrone in the January transfer window, while their most hyped signing of the season, Erling Haaland, is already going all guns blazing in the Premier League. He notched up his 4th Premier League hat-trick after just 19 appearances. This puts Haaland in the elite company of Alan Shearer and Harry Kane to have been the only people to score 4 hat-tricks in a single Premier League season. One more hat-trick in this season and he will have a record of his own. After having recently defeated Spurs, the citizens will travel to Tottenham for their next league fixture, followed by hosting Aston Villa at home. Pep Guardiola will be expecting nothing less than 6 points from these 2 fixtures, but it will not be easy. Tottenham will definitely want to avenge the loss they suffered recently, while Aston Villa will definitely be operating on the motivation of breaking into the top half of the table with a victory. Traveling to the other side of Manchester, we reach the Old Trafford, a fortress of a home ground where Manchester United is unbeaten in 14 games in all competitions with 12 victories on the trot, their longest such winning run in over a decade. This string of victories also consists of a win over Nottingham Forest in a 2-legged semi-final tie that puts the Red Devils on the road to Wembley for the EFL Cup final. They will play Newcastle United in a bid for their 6th domestic league cup in what is the first final for Erik ten Hag in his first season in charge of Manchester United. However, after the crucial comeback victory in the Manchester derby, the league form for Red Devils has definitely hit a snag. They went on to drop 5 points in their next two league fixtures against the Eagles and against the leaders Arsenal. Even though a good squad depth is available for Ten Hag at his disposal, the absence of names like Christian Eriksen and Donny van de Beek will definitely give some headaches to the manager. But the good news is that Wout Weghorst is being joined by Marcel Sabitzer from Bayern Munich on loan in the January window for Manchester United. He will be boosting the midfield in the absence of the Danish international. After having dropped points in London at the Selhurst Park, the Red Devils will welcome Crystal Palace for the return fixture in their next league match. This is followed by two back-to-back matches against Leeds United in a Roses rivalry. Fair to say, 9 points out of these 3 games are expected from Ten Hag's side, but with Leeds having the tendency and the capability of stunning any given side on any given day, coupled with United's recent tendency of conceding late goals and throwing away points, it won't be a total surprise if the Red Devils drop a couple points or more. Let's journey back to London, to North London actually, and to the new Tottenham Hotspur Stadium to be very specific. Including a drubbing at home to the arch rivals Arsenal and a loss at the Etihad to Manchester City after leading at the half-time, Spurs have recorded 3 losses in their past 5 fixtures. To add to the misery, the Tottenham side has no game-in-hand advantage as they have played at least 1 game more than all the clubs positioned above them in the league standings. As far as the squad depth available to Antonio Conte goes, Lucas Moura is still out with no expected return date, and Richarlison is still to feature for Spurs following the World Cup. But the January transfer window has brought in some reinforcements. However, it has not been as loud as the summer transfer window was. The North London club has brought in Dan Juma and Pedro Porro on loan from Villarreal and Sporting Lisbon respectively. The investments might be a good one as Dan Juma has already opened his account with a debut goal in the FA Cup. In more good news for Spurs fans, Heung-min Son has potentially returned back to form with a brace in the same fixture. The injury report and the missing in action Richarlison and Lucas Moura, the addition of Danjuma and Pedro Porro, and their latest win over Fulham in the most recent league fixture. All these combined must be used as a catalyst, as a motivation for Spurs as they prepare to host Pep Guardiola's Man City in their next league fixture. This is followed by a trip to Leicester City. Now all 6 points from these 2 fixtures will be the ideal scenario for manager Antonio Conte. However, keeping realistic hopes, he will definitely not be happy and will be expecting to at least get 1 victory out of these 2 matches. If you travel from London in order to reach Liverpool, you will have to go north in the UK, but on the league table, we will be travelling south. Now Liverpool, much like Spurs, have only recorded 2 victories out of their last 5 matches, and in a very worrying sign for the fans, Liverpool has failed to win even a single Premier League match in the entire month of January. Their only victory in this month has come in the FA Cup, which is also no longer a prospect for Liverpool or their fans, courtesy of the Seagulls. Talking of the squad depth availability to the manager Jurgen Klopp, names like Luis Diaz, Arthur Melo, Diogo Jota, Bobby Firmino, Konate and Virgil van Dijk are unavailable for contention. Adding to the misery for Liverpool fans, Cody Gakpo remains the only incoming signing in the winter transfer window for the Liverpool club. With no good news coming in for Liverpool fans or the manager, the only thing that might work in the favour of the Reds is that they face 2 relegation-threatened sides in their next league matches. But one of those sides is Wolves, and the Reds needed 2 matches to get rid of them in the FA Cup. And the other is Everton, who always make the Liverpool derby an interesting one for the Reds. 6 points out of these 2 matches are not only crucial for Jurgen Klopp but very much needed if he hopes to see himself and his club in Europe next season. Moving further south on the league table, we reach Stamford Bridge, where Chelsea rest occupying the 10th place. Their win over Crystal Palace in the middle of January remains their only victory in the first month of 2023 and their only victory in their last 5 league matches. To add to the woes for Chelsea fans, the London-based club has also been knocked out of all the domestic cup competitions in this season. Much like their league standing neighbours Liverpool, Chelsea can try and pin some of the blame for their recent form on the number of injuries suffered by the club. Players like Christian Pulisic, N'Golo Conte and Raheem Sterling are still ruled out. But despite such an injury list, the Chelsea fans expect and demand a lot more than just a few victories sprinkled here and there, given the January transfer window that the club has had. With a total spend of nearing £300 million, the club has brought in the likes of Fofana, Santos, Badiashile, Madueke, Mudryk, Malo Gusto, who was loaned back to Lyon for the remainder of the season, the debutant with a red card João Felix, and the record-breaking signing of the Argentine youngster Enzo Fernandez have been brought inside the Stamford Bridge. After having recently faced humiliation at the Craven Cottage, Chelsea is set to face Fulham at home, followed by a visit to take on West Ham United at the London Stadium. While Fulham continues to pose a threat to Graham Potter and his job, the Hammers would also be eager to get a positive result at home and expand their safe zone above the relegation zone. With Mudryk and Fernandes coming in and Felix having one match left in his ban, a win over West Ham United is a bright prospect. However, Fulham's visit is definitely going to give some nightmares to Graham Potter. With that, we come to the end of this episode with all the eyes and brains on the upcoming Gameweek 22 of the Premier League. The upcoming Valentine's Day is also going to be extra special as it marks the return of the greatest love affair in European football, the UEFA Champions League. Lots more to come in the Premier League and lots more to come in the Champions League. So stay tuned to Gaffer's Advisor as the season continues to unfold. Before I sign off, another quick reminder to please like and subscribe to Gaffer's Advisor, and please do not forget to share your predictions, your feedback, your comments, your views, or just any random football trivia in the comments section. Please share the podcast with your footballing circle, with your friends who support football, who like football, who love football, who breathe football just like me, and help your favorite football podcast grow. This is your host and Gaffer's Advisor Siddharth Kathuria signing off.